On the morning of Tuesday, September 11th, 2001, Kate Cain-Bell was fully immersed in teaching something important to her first grade class at Richboro Elementary in Richboro, Pennsylvania. Not very far into the morning, the principal interrupted and pulled her out into the hall to share with her the news of the devastation in New York City and Washington, D.C. Kate tried to grasp the horror of the situation and could hardly do it, let alone think how she was going to explain it to her young, innocent minds of her students. So she agreed with the decision that the school made not to share the information with the students. She did have a deep longing to do something positive in the face of this crisis. And so as she entered the classroom, a deeply spiritual woman, she suddenly was struck by inspiration. She went to the front of the class and said, "I want you to do something for me. I want you in your imagination to think of the most beautiful thing that you can. You're going to hold it in your mind for a minute and then send it out into the world. Do you think you can do that?" Enthusiastic heads nodded. "Okay, let's do it." And suddenly, a wave of beauty was sent out into a world of ugliness. Later in the day, Kate felt a responsibility to somehow warn the students that they were headed out into a world that was different than the one that they had woke up to that morning. Inspiration struck again. Do you remember that beautiful thought that you sent out into the world? Heads nodded. Well, you were sending out something beautiful. Someone else sent something not very beautiful at all out into the world. Well, she was waiting to see if the students seemed to understand. One little girl, Allie, piped up and said, "Well, as soon as I get home, I'm going to send them something really beautiful right back." Triumph over tragedy happens in many different ways. And on that particular day, in September, triumph happened by a young student who indeed learned something important that day in school. Our response? Send beauty. And that is a true story that was written down by Terry Gogan and shared with permission.